A company files to go public. Pretty routine, right? Except buried in their SEC paperwork was this gem: elevate the world's consciousness. Yeah, their actual mission statement in a legal document. Oh, and it also came out that the CEO had been renting his own buildings to his own company, that he'd literally trademarked the word "we" and sold it back to the business for almost $6 million. And his wife? Word from ex-employees was she'd fire people because their energy was off. 6 weeks after this thing went public, the company lost 80% of its value. The CEO got pushed out with a golden parachute worth up to $1.7 billion. 4 years later, bankrupt. This is WeWork. And honestly, that S1 filing might be the most spectacular train wreck ever submitted to the SEC. So how do you build a $47 billion company, torch $10 billion in cash, and somehow end up richer than when you started? Let's find out. All right, rewind to 2010, New York City. There's this guy, Adam Neumann, tall, long hair, Israeli accent, the kind of charisma that just pulls people in. He'd been running this co-working spot called Green Desk. Nothing fancy, but it made money. Problem was, Neumann didn't want fine. He wanted massive. So he partners up with Miguel McKelvey, an architect, and they launch WeWork. The pitch was dead simple. Traditional office leases? They sucked. You'd sign a 10-year lease, build everything yourself, then sit in some depressing fluorescent cube farm, soul-crushing stuff. WeWork was supposed to be different. Gorgeous spaces, month-to-month flexibility, glass walls, exposed brick, tons of natural light. But here's the real hook: community. You weren't just renting a desk. You were joining something bigger. Free beer on tap, weekly networking events, neon signs everywhere saying stuff like "do what you love" and "hustle harder." If you were anywhere near the startup world between 2015 and 2019, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The coffee smell, the craft beer, that weirdly optimistic energy of 100 tiny companies all crammed together, each one convinced they're about to change everything. And it exploded. 2011, 1 location. 2014, 23 locations. 2017, 155 locations. 2019, 528 locations across 111 cities. Every funding round, the valuation doubled, then doubled again. Neumann wasn't just building a real estate company, he was building a lifestyle, a movement, hell, almost a religion. He'd show up to investor meetings barefoot, talk about WeWork like it was going to fundamentally reshape humanity. He'd say things like, "We are here to change the world," without even a hint of irony, and people ate it up. Enter Masayoshi Son. Guy runs SoftBank, massive Japanese conglomerate. He's got this thing called the Vision Fund, biggest tech investment fund in history. We're talking $100 billion looking for a home. Son visits WeWork, reportedly spent under 30 minutes at the office total. The actual conversation where he decided to invest, around 12 minutes. In a car, 12 minutes. 4.4 billion people in the room said Son basically told Neumann his problem was thinking too small. WeWork should be 10 times bigger, 100 times. Don't sweat profits, just scale. The money will sort itself out. Which is like handing a flamethrower to someone already playing with matches. SoftBank eventually dumped over $10 billion into WeWork when you add it all up. Investments, bailouts, credit lines, everything. And every time they wrote a check, the valuation jumped. $20 billion, $35 billion. By January 2019, $47 billion. For context, that made WeWork worth more than Ford, Delta Airlines, and AMD combined. Companies that, actually made money. WeWork's 2018 revenue, $1.8 billion. Their loss that same year, $1.9 billion. They were losing more than they were making. And somehow, worth more than Ford. Adam Neumann fully embraced the Messiah vibe, started calling himself a conscious entrepreneur. The official mission statement, the one in their SEC filing, said, "Our mission is to elevate the world's consciousness." The S1 even had a dedication. "We dedicate this to the energy of we, greater than any one of us but inside each of us," in a legal document filed with the federal government to convince Wall Street to buy stock. Behind the scenes, things got weird. Neumann personally owned several buildings, then leased those same buildings to WeWork. So the company was literally paying rent to its own CEO. He trademarked the word "we" through a company he controlled. When WeWork rebranded to the We Company, guess what? Neumann sold that trademark back to them. For exactly $5.9 million, he eventually returned the money after the backlash, but the fact it even happened tells you everything. His wife, Rebecca, Gwyneth Paltrow's cousin, very into spiritual stuff, had an official role. Ex-employees said she had serious pull over hiring decisions. People got fired because Rebecca didn't vibe with their energy. Not kidding. Multiple people have said this independently. They had a private jet, which fine, lots of CEOs do. But according to the Wall Street Journal, on one 2018 flight to Israel, the crew found marijuana on board. The crew straight up refused to fly him back. None of this was really hidden. People inside knew, investors knew, the board knew. Nobody hit the brakes. By 2018, some folks started asking the obvious questions, like, what's the actual business here? WeWork signs long-term leases, 15, 20 years, with landlords, then rents out those spaces month to month to startups and freelancers. The difference between what they pay and what they charge, that's supposed to be profit. Problem, they were bleeding cash. Not a little, a lot. 2016, lost $459 million. 2017, lost $933 million. 2018, lost $1.9 billion losses growing faster than revenue. Every new location lost money for months before maybe breaking even. But they kept opening new spots at breakneck speed because that's what Sun wanted. Scale, growth, profits, later. Some analysts started pointing out the elephant in the room. This isn't a tech company, it's real estate. Tech scales infinitely. Add users, costs barely budge. Real estate doesn't work that way. Every location means new leases, build-outs, staff. WeWork's pitch depended on them being a tech platform. Reality? They were a landlord with a killer Instagram aesthetic. August 14th, 2019. WeWork files its S1. This is the document companies submit before going public. Lays out the business, finances, risks, leadership. The second it dropped, people actually read it, and the internet lost its mind. Elevate the world's consciousness. Right on page 1. The financials, fully exposed. Losses bigger than revenue. No clear path to profitability. Neumann's control. Super voting shares. Even if he got fired, he'd still control the board. They literally couldn't get rid of him. All the shady stuff, the building leases, the trademark sale, everything in black and white. Twitter erupted, financial journalists tore it apart, investors who'd been ready to buy started backing away. Within days, the bankers came back with bad news. That $47 billion valuation? Not happening. Maybe $20 billion, then $15, then $10. 6 weeks after filing, WeWork pulled the IPO. September 24th, 2019. Adam Neumann is out as CEO. $47 billion to basically zero. 6 weeks. Here's where it gets infuriating. Neumann didn't just leave. He got paid to leave. SoftBank, scrambling to clean up the mess, put together a package. Stock buyback worth around $970 million. A consulting contract for $185 million, credit lines worth $500 million initial value, up to $1.7 billion later. After lawsuits and renegotiations, that number came down, probably closer to $1 billion or less. But still, the guy who ran the company into the ground, who treated it like his personal ATM, who built a system where he was basically untouchable, walked away with generational wealth. Same month, WeWork announces layoffs, 2,400 people, about 19% of staff, first wave, cleaning staff, front desk workers, community managers who'd bought into the whole we're family thing. Some lower paid workers got severance in the hundreds of dollars. Neumann's package, up to $1.7 billion, same company. Same month. Just sit with that for a second. After Neumann left, WeWork tried to salvage things. New management came in. Sandeep Mathrani, actual real estate guy with real experience. He cut costs, closed locations, tried turning it into a normal business. Then COVID hit in 2020. Worst timing imaginable for a company renting office space. Everyone went remote. Offices sat empty. They eventually went public via SPAC in 2021. Valuation, around $9 billion, a shadow of the peak. Still bleeding money. November 6, 2023. WeWork files Chapter 11 bankruptcy in New Jersey. The company once worth more than Ford, Delta, and AMD, bankrupt. SoftBank wrote off nearly everything. Over $10 billion gone. If you walk past a WeWork today, the ones still open, they feel kind of sad. The neon signs are still there. Do what you love. Hustle harder. But the energy's different. Quieter. Fewer people. That manic 2017 startup buzz? Long gone. The free beer taps? A lot got ripped out. Cost cutting. Adam Neumann? He's fine. Started a new company after leaving, bought apartment buildings, reportedly pitched Andreessen Horowitz on another startup and got funding. Still rich, still doing deals, still giving interviews about his vision. The people who cleaned his offices, managed his desks, believed in the mission, they moved on, found other jobs, probably don't put WeWork on their resumes anymore. So what really happened here? A charismatic founder who believed his own hype, or at least made everyone else believe it. An investor who threw billions at him and told him to dream bigger. A board that never said no. A system that rewards growth over sanity. And when it collapsed, the people at the top walked away rich. Everyone else got screwed. Do what you love. That was the slogan on every wall. Turns out what Adam Neumann loved was extracting money from a company that was never built to last. And he did it better than anyone. Here's what keeps me up at night. Who's doing this right now? What company has a charismatic founder, an insane valuation, endless VC cash, and a business model that makes no sense? What board is watching red flags pile up and saying nothing? coming. Could be AI, could be crypto round 2, could be something we're not even paying attention to yet, I don't know. But someone's building the next WeWork right now, and when it collapses, someone's walking away a billionaire. Drop your guess